there.
On the bottom, it was written on the bottom of it.
On the bottom of the bunk bed. And he was like, that's the only thing that kept him through. And I forget what it said, but
Trust in God.
Trust in God.
Trust in God. I'll never forget that, man.
And so when he told me that and how long he had to sit down, I was just like, whoa. Yeah. Mentally, this dude's tough. Mm-hmm. Like, mentally is tough. Because that's what you have to be in this business. Mm-hmm. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, you have to be mentally tough. If you're not mentally tough, it's going to eat you up and spit you right out.
Exactly.
And then you're going to be way back behind the line. And then people going to see you working at 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. But me personally, I don't care. So what happened, I'll tell you what really happened. So 2018, my dad died. All right, so my fraternity brothers, a couple months, it was like May, they were like, hey, you need to start this business. Mm-hmm. So I got the first order, and then I started the business. 2019, December 2019, I told my wife, we've been talking, because I'm like, hey, I'm not really working or whatever, because I was helping take care of my dad. Mm-hmm. And so she was working, supporting our family. Majority of the time she was supporting our family. Excuse me. Golly. Man, if your dreams aren't that big to make you want to cry, man.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
We're
gonna push forward. Let's do it. That's the drive, man.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why you go so hard.
That's Billy the Baker for you, man. Let's get it.
Your dreams not big enough, man. Your dreams are not big enough. I haven't even applied to culinary school. I told my kids, so say goodbye to your friends. Moving back to Chicago. We're going to culinary school. I'm going to become a pastry chef. Mm-hmm. And
my brother.
Take your time.
God, man. God is good. I tell you.
All the time, man. What's going on, guys, man? We are back today with another episode of Dope Talk. We got one of the hosts, David, whatever you call me, man, and my co-host.
Yo, what's up? It's Jayla.
What up, Jayla?
What's up? Don't forget. This is Dope Talk, where the talk is always real.
Get it right.
All right.
No, but today we are honored to have my good friend and a great baker chef, Billy
Emphasis
Cross.
on that.
Great chef and baker.
Yes.
These cookies are bomb.
Has some fire, red velvet.
Yeah, red velvet. Yes. But Billy Cross is here with us, man. He is the owner of Oak and English Catering Company, and he's also a baker. Billy the Baker, man.
Yeah,
what's going on,
welcome,
guys?
Welcome.
Thank you guys for having me here.
No, Thank you for coming, man. Thank you for coming. But his real introduction is Billy the Baker.
Billy the Baker.
Billy the Baker, man.
Nah, it's cool. It's cool to have a baker, an actual baker, and then you brought treats. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Gotta shout out.
For real.
Them red velvets were fire. Seriously.
Thank you.
But you as an entrepreneur, what do you love most about what you do?
It's kind of a loaded question, but I love controlling my own time. Mm-hmm. But when you're first starting out, you're not really in control of your own time, but you're setting up for the future.
Yeah.
So I'm married, I have 3 boys, got a freshman in high school, 8th grader, and a 3rd grader. So the ultimate plan was to, by the time my oldest son graduated out of high school, I'll be able to be in a position where I can move around, and wherever he's at in college, we can go visit him and travel with the other 2 as well.
And be able to be there for them, man. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's what's up, man. That's good, man.
So you wanted that flexibility,
correct,
to be able to make your own schedule, to have total creative control, and not really answer to anyone.
So I mean, you put up I still have to answer to my wife.
That's right.
That's a given right there.
Yep.
But no, so kind of my background, after I graduated, I went to NIU, and then I was working for the football team as an equipment manager there. Mm-hmm. And so my last year there, I started working mini camps for the Chicago Bears. And so I met someone there, and I ended up taking an internship at Northwestern University in the equipment room, and eventually got hired on full time. And so I was working there for 5 years, and then my wife got pregnant with our first son.
Okay.
And so how my schedule was set up, I had football and basketball, and we had football practice at 5 o'clock in the morning. Well, I had to be there at 5 o'clock.
That's where you were working at?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I was working. If we had a basketball game, we had later on games. So it's like 8 o'clock at night. So I wouldn't get home, and I wouldn't leave the office until 11. Wouldn't get home until after midnight because I lived all the way in the city of the South Loop.
Oh, wow.
And then I had to get back up at 4 o'clock in the morning, get on the train, and go back to Northwest Street.
Wow.
Big
So-
grind.
That's
big grind.
dedication.
Yeah, and I'm a huge sports guy. I would say. Now, all my videos are about baking and cooking. So, you look at my algorithm, you'll see that. And once I found my passion for baking, it kind of just took off from there. Like it just spoke to me. I started because there was a guy in Chicago. He had a place in Uptown. He shut his bakery down.
Okay.
And all the other places, like the name brand places, either I liked their cake or I didn't like their frosting, or I liked their frosting, I didn't like their cake. But I felt that I had enough confidence, blind confidence, stupid confidence, you want to say,
You gotta have it. You gotta bet on yourself.
Yeah.
that I could make a red velvet cupcake with cream cheese frosting. So my business partner was a chef. My future business partner, he was a chef. So I brought over some recipes, and we tried to make the cake. The cake actually did not turn out great. But the frosting was good. The frosting was really
got something
good.
good out of it.
Yep.
So I asked him if I can borrow his textbook. Took his textbooks and started reading about how to create recipes and stuff. So, and I saw a lot of sciences involved, and I had, I don't know, I just enjoyed it because I used to do, when I started off in school, I was in chemistry, and then I enjoyed doing that part, you know.
Okay.
I enjoyed the lab part of it. And so I just started developing recipes, finally felt comfortable where I could actually present my recipes outside of my family. And I took it to a birthday party. One of my friends, they were like, you know, you should really consider starting a business. These are really good.
That was like your first gig, that birthday party.
That was, but it was sort of like,
It wasn't a gig. It was just you were trying it out.
Just
trying it
showing
out.
people.
I want feedback from people. Like,
Right.
And I don't care how bad it is. I just need the feedback. If someone gives me a negative feedback or whatever, I'm like, all right, what would you change?
Right.
And like some people are just jerks out here, and they'd be like, oh, this sucks, just so they don't like me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you just have to kind of figure it out. But you ask them a follow-up question like, what could I do better? And if they don't have anything,
Then they're just
I'm
trying
not
to be a
going to
jerk.
listen to you
Right.
Yeah.
ever again. Your opinion is not
Valid.
really valid.
Yeah.
And so what I come to find out is that, you know, in the industry, you know, a lot of guys are willing to help you out.
Right.
And you just have to be willing to ask.
Right.
That's one thing as an entrepreneur, you really have to ask, because there's a lot of stuff that I don't know right now, still to this day. But I do know a lot of stuff that will help me, that got me to this point,
Right.
put to the next level. Now I have to go ahead and ask more people, what are they doing? What are they seen in the past to shorten up that curve?
Right.
You know, so
And is that kind of how you two met?
Yeah.
That's how
supporting
we-
each
Yeah,
other.
we
you know,
no,
just-
we actually met at when I first opened up, we opened up on Grand in Kedzie. That was a cloud kitchen, and he was my neighbor, Billy the Bake. Yeah, man. We did it. We actually met there, and but like just to touch back on that, Billy helped me a lot as far as like even in honestly like when it's all was said and done, like we honestly weren't even making no money in there. And Billy introduced me to a contract that I was actually able to scale my business through.
yeah. So we were doing it first, and then we were just, because I kept seeing him and his family, like he had his kids in the kitchen,
kids.
his wife in the kitchen, like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, this is a family guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm a family guy. So I think that's how
we
we
touch
would
base,
always
yeah.
be say, what's up?
Yeah.
And then finally we stopped and started talking. And then we had a great conversation. David's funny as hell. Like he actually he helped me out personally. He was always telling like, just trust God.
Positive attitude sometimes.
Yeah, he had a positive attitude. Things were going on in the kitchen that just wasn't. I wasn't happy with, because we weren't making any money there.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were getting killed with the rent and how the contracts were set up, and we're all there. We're all in the same boat, and we're all trying to survive.
Right.
So any information I have, I'll pass it along. Like I'm happy to see David win.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if he can do that, I mean, I mean, he has his family there. Like we even did volunteering.
We actually, me and Billy, that was my first time actually doing some charity work. We actually made a Thanksgiving dinner. Remember?
Yeah.
And we passed it on.
Nice.
We had our kids there. He had his boy, I had my son, and we actually passed it along with and that was really good for the heart. Like as far as like really good for the soul.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually, it was pretty good.
Yeah, we did it for a couple of years.
Yeah. We just did it with your buddy.
Juice.
Yeah. Juice. Shout out Juice, man.
Juice
Shout out
Foundation.
Juice. We need to get him in here too.
Yeah. He just took on a job with Iona University as a coach.
Oh.
But he still has his foundation. It's called Juice Foundation, where we help out neurodivergent kids, children from 6 to 12. And we put on basketball camps. It was more like an open play.
Right.
We just had our largest one at Northwestern University earlier in April for Autism Awareness Month.
That's what's up, man.
We had 42 kids come out, and then they're having fun. It's amazing to watch these kids who are attached to their phones, or they have their certain routine, but now they're out playing basketball and they look forward to the next event. So it brings almost a tear to my eye because of my middle son. When he was in kindergarten, they tried to diagnose him with autism because he wouldn't look people in their eye when he talked or whatever.
Okay.
And he had spatial awareness. Like he couldn't, he's just coming from preschool. Now he's just going to kindergarten.
Yeah.
They're like, no, you got to sit there.
Right.
And,
he didn't want to sit.
Right. And so he get to first grade, and they rule out autism. Then you get to first grade, and they were like, oh, you either have ADHD or anxiety. And they try to put him on 2 different medications. It's a 6-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And one medicine take 8 hours to wear off. The other one took 2 weeks to wear off.
What?
Yeah. So they couldn't pinpoint it. So I'm in the meetings with the principal, the social worker, his teachers, and they're telling us to put him on medication. I'm like, I'm not gonna put him on medication. And thank God my wife was there with me, because I was getting so heated and frustrated.
Like, fight.
Yeah, like this is my kid.
Right, of course.
God
man.
gave me this child, and I have to protect this child until he's able to protect himself. And so, but with the Juice Foundation, I just wish something like that was
around back then,
or I was more aware, because I felt so helpless. And the school systems some of them can be, depending on what district you're in, they can be bullies.
Yeah.
And they'll try to tell you this is how it has to be, but then you have to go out and do your own research,
right,
and get people to advocate for you. And that's what we did. So this is when I was back in my hometown, because I moved back, and then my wife, she was searching. She found a holistic doctor here in Naperville. So we moved back to the Chicago area.
Okay, and
then we got him in there. Had to pay out of pocket because the insurance not going to cover that.
Right.
And it's been great. I mean, he's in 8th grade, smart, sharp as a whip.
By the grace of God, man. You see that? I got hurt.
So it is no telling. And no knock to parents who do. I want to make this clear. It's no knock to parents who do put their kids on medication.
Right.
But just for me, I didn't think 2 different medications, and they couldn't pinpoint.
Yeah, that was just going to do more damage.
Yeah, it would help him more. But I like the holistic approach.
Yeah.
I'm always for that. Another alternative. Always.
Definitely. And I think there's other alternatives too, like just the food that we eat,
Yes.
Like different foods can help you heal your body.
Right.
And people aren't really aware. And so and that's the thing I struggle with baking. To be quite honest with you guys, like sugar is crack. Sugar is crack.
Smoky.
And so, and sugar, a lot of it at one time in excess can really hurt you. And, you know, I have diabetes. You know, I was diagnosed with diabetes about 13 years ago. And that's like right when I started baking, right? And true fact that I really don't eat a lot of desserts because of that. Because once I start eating, man, I can't stop.
Yeah.
It's like
Smoky activate.
yeah,
Literally.
yeah. Like especially this is a donut shop in my hometown. Oh my God.
What's your hometown? Go ahead,
My
shout it out, big
hometown
man.
is
Go shout it out,
my
big dog.
hometown is Danville.
Danville. Oh,
Danville,
man.
Illinois, 61832, area
Okay.
code 217. Let's
Yeah.
go.
You went to college out that way too?
No, I graduated from Northern Illinois.
You were in a sorority, weren't you?
Fraternity.
Yeah.
My bad. Excuse me.
You were you?
Yeah, I am.
What fraternity were you?
Omega
a part of?
Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated.
Cool. Hey.
Okay, shout out, man. Shout out, big dog. My bad. Yeah.
real.
Don't kill me. Fraternity. I'm sorry. Fraternity. I'm sorry.
Right, you're gonna get canceled.
My bad. No, I'm sorry. Fraternity, dude.
It's cool, man. Don't worry about it.
But back
We
to
know
the,
your heart. We know your heart.
Back to your baking style. Because you dealt with, you know, your medical history, did you ever find yourself trying a different approach of how much sugar? Maybe you do it in moderation. I don't know. Is that possible for baked goods?
Yeah, it is
Pastries?
possible. I have tried it a few times. It just don't meet my
wasn't that
standard for
good?
taste.
Wasn't that good?
But there's other things you can do that I've learned within the past couple of years that I can do. So right now I have like a eggless chocolate cake. I have a dairy-free carrot cake, which is really good.
Is that the one that you used to have on there?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
definitely got some fire character.
So, and that's what we're my wife and I and some of our team that we have that we're looking into going that route as well. So, I need to be responsible. It's not just, you know, when Judgment Day come,
Just try to do your
you know,
part.
I just
you
want
know?
to make
You gotta
sure
do
I'm
your part.
being responsible and doing what I need to do.
That's what's up.
Not only for myself, my family, but other people that I present my
Your food too.
my food to.
I respect that for
Yeah,
sure.
so
Yes, sir.
but yeah,
Yes, sir. Not like McDonald's.
right. But no, we my going back to when I first started, you know,
Yeah, you took a complete leap of faith in your culinary journey.
well, so I was doing it for a passion, just for myself,
Right.
right? And so then I started handing out stuff to people, and then I started doing different variations of cupcakes. I was doing whoopie pies and stuff, and people really enjoyed the whoopie pies.
Enlighten me. What's a whoopie pie?
It's just like a sandwich, like two cakes, and you got frosting in between. That's it.
What, bread?
I was
In the-
thinking of something
on top?
different.
Or no. Like
No, it's like you ever see the Suzy Q's by
Yeah.
Hostess? It's like that, but it's a
that?
circle.
Okay, a whoopie pie.
Yeah. Like an oatmeal cream pie.
Yeah,
But
that's
it's
what I'm
two
thinking of.
cakes. Yeah. It's just two cakes with frosting.
With frosting in the middle. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so I would do that. By this time, I had moved back to my hometown, like 2014, for family reasons, and so I would go to Champaign. I would I was with the local, my fraternity there, their chapter, their graduate chapter there, and I would like bring cakes to just different events or cupcakes or whoopie pies or whatever. I would bring those, and people started to enjoy it, and they really liked it, and the business kind of took off from there. I had a few of my brothers who were moving out of the state, and I brought some over. We had like 3 brothers who was moving out of state, so I brought some over, and this is right at the time, 2018, when my father had passed away.
Okay.
So baking was really huge in my life. Like I was spiraling out of control, and baking was huge in my life, and
Keeping you grounded.
Yeah. So, and I had it was my healing.
Yeah, you was healing
Yeah.
through bacon.
And, you know, they were like, do you have a you got a name? These are really good. We should market this.
Right.
I'm like,
Heck
yeah, I do
yeah.
got a name. And I really wasn't telling people my name at the time. But when I told them, I was like, it's Billy the Baker. They were like, oh.
Billy the Baker.
They were like, oh, I love this. I love it. Blah, blah, blah. And so one of the guys there, he was like, he did medical device sales.
Yeah.
And so he was like, bring me 3 dozen on Tuesday. So I'm like, all right, cool. Literally 19 minutes later, he texted me. I had an order for 6 dozen of cupcakes.
Wow.
From
After
one
that?
of his nurses. And so after that,
Look at God.
yeah, for real.
Look at God.
You know, when you're going through a storm, you know, you see something bright, like a light like that,
Yeah.
and you just kind of run with it.
Yeah.
Because baking is not easy. Not everybody can do it. But this is a gift. I'm telling you, this is a gift from God because growing up, I didn't have to cook. I didn't have to clean. I didn't have to do laundry. I didn't have to
Mama
wash
Dukes took care of
dishes. None of that until I got like in high school because my older sister left for college. So somebody had to fill in her spot.
Somebody got to take
So
care
I
of
had to wash dishes
Yeah.
and vacuum the floor.
Okay.
That was it. That was it. Like my parents did all the cooking. They were great cooks. Only thing my dad would ask me to do in the summertime was to light up the grill before he got off from work.
Oh, so be on.
So he could be hot and ready.
Light
He just
work.
throw the grill,
let's
throw the
get
food
it.
on because my parents had this deal where they had to whoever got off first
Had to cook.
had to start cooking. So when the second person got off from work, then we can eat as a family together. So before my mom had went back to work, you know, my dad got off at like 3:10. We were eating dinner at like 3:30. So then when my mom went back to work, you know, she got off at 4:30. We started eating at 5 o'clock.
Right,
So
push it
we
out.
would always eat early. And if you didn't eat, you know.
Yeah, you just didn't eat. You just didn't eat.
But no, I had when they had my fraternity brothers was like, hey, you know, just, you know, let's market this. And they started a whole marketing plan. And like, I was just there. I was there physically, but mentally I was tapped out. Like, this is like 2 months after my dad had passed away. So I'm like really tapped out.
Yeah.
So they were like, no, I'm serious about this. So I went, got an artist in Champaign. He made a little caricature of myself. You know, I
Nice.
put cream, cake rules, everything around me, put that around the shirt.
Okay.
And started handing the shirts out to people. And then I started getting gigs and from different people down there doing cupcakes and stuff. But then someone asked me to make a cake. I couldn't make a cake.
Why? You weren't that far.
I wasn't that far in my process, so I had to turn the business down. I told my mom about it, so she signed me up for classes at Joanne Fabrics.
That's
That's right.
So the first class, I want to give a shout out to Diane and Pam. Pam was the actual instructor. Diane took the class, so Pam's class wouldn't get cut, but both of them already know how to make cakes. So it was like
Right.
me getting a lesson 2-on-1. I was the only person.
You was the only person in the class?
It was me and Diane were the only 2 people there, but they already knew, so they were teaching me
You were the only one.
Yeah.
You was getting everything.
at Joanne Fabric.
at Joanne Fabric. So it
Am
was
I
like,
missing something? Did they do that? Like,
they used to have this
Culinary-
Wilton courses. So they show you how to work
really?
with buttercream, fondant, all this
What?
stuff. So
Yeah, bro.
you would have to bring in like pre-made cakes, and then they'll show you how to frost them, how to
Really?
put fondant, make little characters. And
Joe
stuff
and
stuff.
Fabrics.
Yeah, man, that's $20 ever spent, man.
$20.
$20, yeah.
Billy, you showing off your age, bro. You showing off your age, bro.
It was like 40, but then they didn't have enough people, so they cut
Right.
it 50%. So I ended up taking like 4 classes there. Yeah.
$80. $80. That's $80.
Yeah, return on the investment is
Man.
phenomenal.
Phenomenal. $80.
But
man.
I just remember the first class I told Pam, I was like, man, you changed my life forever. Just the I didn't know I was creative. You know,
Right.
I don't consider myself an artist.
And
I know that.
she sparked that flame in you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw, as a young kid, I could always see like a business and be like, okay, we could do this. Like we can make some money off of this.
Right.
Right. So remember those little, real tell my age. So you remember those little Nestle Crunch bars and caramel and
Yeah.
the almonds that no one could sell? So I'm in 8th grade. All I wanted was a $10 gift card so I could buy
Yeah.
a Young MC cassette tape.
So you started hustling.
You don't even
candy.
know who Young MC is.
Not
right?
at all.
Don't
but
worry about it.
hey, I support.
Yeah, well, I guess most would consider him a one-hit wonder, but so I figured out.
You always had a hustle, though.
I always had a hustle. So I figured out that, like, if it went from cutting grass to newspapers in Danville back then, like, I wasn't making enough money doing newspapers. So I'm like, nah, I forget this one. And it was a lot of work.
That went too
like
much money.
7 days a week. Like,
She was riding your bike throwing it?
riding my bike. On Sundays, I had the big inserts in it. So my mom would wake up before church and drive me around.
Oh,
And
you
so,
do good there.
Yeah,
Your mama really kind of structured the
Yeah,
hustling.
my mom and my dad, man,
Yeah.
they supported me a lot.
Making your own money.
All my craziness, like back then, like Reebok when they first came out, like they were real popular, and like I wanted a certain Reebok, and I was hustling all summer to get it, so my parents wouldn't have to pay for it, right?
Right.
But it was like, always had this drive to be successful.
there, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people, a lot of males when I grew up, very few were going to college. You know, people were working in trades back then. So trades were paying well. Working in the factory, they were paying well. Like Danville, we were like, we weren't poor, but we weren't like wealthy like people up here.
Right.
There's a few people that were really wealthy there, but most part, every ethnicity was in the same
In the same boat?
same demographic. They were financially. So, because we were a factory town, so we had General Motors, Quaker Oaks, this one factory called T-Pack, Lahoff. You know, they were making good money back then. You know what I mean? Like in the 80s, like people were making good money back then. So we had Heister lift trucks. That's where my parents worked at. You know what I'm saying? Like people were making a decent wage for the time.
Right,
You know
for
what
the
I
time.
mean?
Yeah.
And so, oh shoot, man, I forgot my train of thought.
Now you're good. but
You all good, man.
Sorry to cut you off while you think about what you're going to say. We do have a segment called That's Dope.
That's dope.
And you
Okay.
just touched on trade schools, right? Now,
Yeah.
I have a trade school that I want to shout out. It's
That's dope.
Illinois Media School is one of the best trade schools for media development. They teach you everything broadcasting, basically. But shout out to Illinois Media School. It's definitely a career builder for anyone who wants to be involved in the media industry, for sure.
Shout out Illinois Media School,
They give
guys.
you hands-on experience with
Go ahead.
all equipment, and they also teach you you work with a bunch of professionals as well. Sorry, lost my train of thought too, because I'm just so excited to shout that out.
Let's do it. Shout
That's
out
dope.
Illinois Media School, y'all.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's dope, man. I think a lot. So also, I was in finance as well before I really took baking full time. But when I used to sit kneecap to kneecap with families, man, always people from trade schools always had the most money saved up, and they were making the most money than
Decent amount of money.
getting a 4-year degree. I mean, getting a 4-year degree, if you're not specialized in like becoming a teacher or an attorney or a nurse,
Right.
that's a trade, right? So if you're not doing something like that, like it doesn't make sense. Like it doesn't make sense back in the early 80s, late 70s, you know, someone will graduate with like $5,000 in debt, but they're making like 18, right? So you could pay that 5,000 off. It's not going to take you, 30 years or 40 years to pay off. Now you're getting a debt undergrad. You can go upwards of 50,000, and you're only making 43. So now you're
Yeah.
going back to school to get a master's degree where you can get 20 years ago you could get an entry level job, but now you got a master's degree getting this job. Like that doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
So what I always tell people, going to college, make sure you network.
Absolutely.
Learn how to network with people, because you don't know, for one, what the person next to you is going to become.
Yep.
But definitely you don't know what you're going to become.
Exactly.
And who you know.
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
Who you know?
And you always have to ask questions. So I always tell my sons, like, you guys learn how to read, comprehend, and write well, and ask great questions. Because if you can ask someone a great question and they got a problem, you can come up with a solution, you would always have money.
Mm-hmm.
You'll never have to worry about money. It's like breathing air. You ain't got to worry about breathing air.
Yeah, you don't. You
I like that mindset. Yeah.
You sure don't.
So
man.
it's like a lot of this entrepreneur. It brings a lot out of you. It exposes a lot of about yourself that you don't like. Like normally you can hide behind a job, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like when you're out there as an entrepreneur, like you're just butt booty naked.
You definitely are. You definitely are. Everybody can see you.
Everybody can see you. And then, are you still making them little cakes still? Like, people coming at you taking shots, but you just got to keep.
And that's the crazy part. You absolutely right, because you definitely hit it on the nail. People will be like, your little cakes and all that. Bro, you know what I'm saying? All right, cool,
Right.
You ain't got to kick me while I'm down already, man.
Right. I'm already doing that myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm real thankful about David because, like I'm hard on myself and I expect a lot out of myself. But he was just like, man, just keep going, keep your head up.
Keep your head up, yeah, because
like, this complaining ain't gonna help out anything. You just gotta keep moving. You just can't stay still. It's either you're getting better or you're getting worse. You're not staying the same.
Yeah,
like nobody's staying the same. So with him, he was just always like, just keep going. But then, you did a podcast one time.
Yeah,
and you start talking about your story, and then I was intrigued. Because I already had an opinion about you.
Yeah.
But, like, I didn't know anything like that.
Yeah, what was going on? Yeah.
One thing particular, can I talk about this?
Right, man? Yeah,
one thing particular is that's always stuck with me. He had turned himself in to Belmont Station, right?
Yeah, the Belmont Station, dude.
And they had, like, this bunk bed, and it was stitched on there.
On the bottom, it was written on the bottom of it.
On the bottom of the bunk bed. And he was like, that's the only thing that kept him through. And I forget what it said, but
Trusting God.
Trusting God.
Trusting God. I'll never forget that, man.
And so when he told me that and how long he had to sit down, I was just like, whoa. Yeah. Mentally, this dude's tough. Like, mentally is tough. Because that's what you have to be in this business. Mm-hmm. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, you have to be mentally tough. If you're not mentally tough, it's going to eat you up and spit you right out.
Exactly.
And then you're going to be way back behind the line. And then people going to see you working at 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. But me personally, I don't care. So what happened? I'll tell you what really happened. So, 2018, my dad died. All right. So my fraternity brothers, a couple months. It was like May. They were like, "Hey, you need to start this business." Mm-hmm. So I got the first order, and then I started the business. 2019, December 2019. I told my wife, we've been talking because I'm like, hey, I'm not really working or whatever because I was helping take care of my dad. Mm-hmm. And so she was working, supporting our family. Majority of the time she was supporting our family. Excuse me. Golly. Man, if your dreams aren't that big to make you want to cry, man.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
We're
gonna push forward. Let's do it. That's the drive, man.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why you go so hard.
That's Billy the Baker for you, man. Let's get it.
Your dreams not big enough, man. Your dreams are not big enough. I haven't even applied to culinary school. I told my kids, so like, say goodbye to your friends. Moving back to Chicago. We're going to culinary school. I'm going to become a pastry chef. Mm-hmm. And
my brother.
Take your time.
God, man. God is good. I tell you.
All the time, man, he is.
How long have you and your wife been married?
14 years.
Wow.
Well,
just do it.
Well, we've been together for
a lifetime, baby. A lifetime.
28 years.
Wow.
28 years.
Yeah. Okay, big man.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're going on 15 years married. But we talked about it. She was like, we're cool, whatever. Man, I got up to Chicago. Dude, I did whatever I could to protect my dream. I mean, I drove Uber, Lyft. I did whatever I had to do to bring money into the household in order to make this dream a reality. And so I got into culinary school, man. I was enjoying it, having fun, then the pandemic hit. And so we're cooking at home. But
Yeah.
the tuition we paying out of pocket, the tuition is still going up. And so
That ain't
I'm just
stopping.
like, man. So I went back. I sat out. I went back that summer, 2020, and then I got presented with the opportunity to open up the restaurant over there in Humboldt Park. So we did that, and I'm like, man, I can learn like on the job, like
As you go.
as I go. And so we started doing that. I wasn't doing baking as much, but when we got the contract, I started baking like cupcakes and stuff like that. But I was still making cakes on the side.
Right.
Like, so that was keeping me afloat too. So, but during the pandemic, man, like a 6 month span, like people started feeling comfortable, like May or whatever. I made like 6 or 7 cakes from like May until September.
Yeah.
Right. So I was like just cranking them out. People wanted smaller cakes. I'm like, all right, cool. People wanted stuff. I didn't have no clue what it was, but I'm going to figure it out. Like, as an entrepreneur, you have to figure stuff out, right? And again, like, I'm not an artist. So I just look at things like, I try to break things into the smallest parts. So a circle, a square, a rectangle. That's how I was figuring out shapes and stuff.
Yeah.
So we had the restaurant, and we closed it down or whatever. So then I was kind of in limbo because how everything went down. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I just remember, so this is 2022. One of my good friends from college, he was like, hey, I just want some tickets to go to Cleveland to the All-Star game. I'm like, all right, cool, I'll go. I'm not really doing anything, so I'll go. So I get a call from a chef. I don't know how I got my information, but he was like, hey, I want you to come in and do a stage. So a stage is basically like a internship for like a couple of hours, like a day. It could be 4 hours. It could be a day. It could be a week or whatever. Maybe went in, did it. He hired me on. And so we were making their desserts and stuff like that. It was cool.
Yeah.
Then I got another call because I wanted to start making bread. Like, I really enjoyed the bread making in culinary school, so I really wanted to delve into that.
Try it out, yeah.
So I got a call from this company called Buttercrumb. So I started working there.
Shout out Buttercrumb. I get my bread from them.
Yeah. They are a freaking machine. Small, but they are powerful.
Oh,
So,
they
like,
definitely. And they take care of business.
Man.
They take care of business. I know.
Bro, they have so many breads. And the guy there, shout out to Jerry, man. He was great to me.
Yeah.
Helped me a lot. Like, this one time, he was on the other side of the room. And I was just shaping the bread. And he came over. He's like, wait. He looked at the bread and he was like, they forgot the salt. He looked at the dough and like, they forgot the salt. I'm like, how did you know that? He was like, taste it. Taste it. I was like, ooh.
Yeah. He seen
like,
it.
he saw this. It was like a wheat bread. So he saw this all the way from the other side. Like,
Experience.
so he really knows his deal, like what he was doing. So
Yeah.
that parlayed me into getting a position with the roastery, but in their scratch kitchen. So I was like one of the head bakers, a baker pro, what they call me. And so we doing their sourdough, their skins for the pizzas and stuff like that. In our department, they made the laminations for their cornetti, which is basically like a croissant. And so we had, I was there, and everything was going good there. And like Dave, I'll call David up. This is why I say he's my brother, man, because I would be like, hey, I got a crew here. I always want to try to take care of my people. Like, I wasn't a supervisor or lead, nothing like that, but like, I always want to take care of people I'm working with. So like, if you ever notice, like in culinary, like a lot of people know each other.
Yeah.
They have fun. Like, you can work 12 hours, but you working 12 hours with your homie. Like,
It feel like 3,
It don't
4.
feel like work.
right.
4 hours.
But for me, it was always for baking. It was like just me. So
Right.
it's like no one talked to.
Now you had a crew.
Yeah. Now I had a little crew. We were cool. I ended up having to leave there for
Crazy reasons.
ultimately it went down to like jealousy reasons. And it wasn't anything. It was just unbearable for me personally because I wasn't liking the person I was becoming, being real negative, and being defensive all the time. Like I'm not. When my father had passed away, the reason why I switched careers because I wasn't happy doing what I was doing, right? And I potentially at the time have lived half my life. So if I'm not happy doing what I'm doing, I need to find happiness
somewhere else,
right? And so that's why I got into baking because I'm like, I love this. So kind of go back when I was telling you about Joanne Fabrics or whatever. After the first class, I asked one of my frat brothers' daughter. I was like, she's about to get married. Well, like 16 months. And I was like, hey, do you mind if I bid for your business? She's like, all right. I had 16 months to figure this out.
Right.
And I got the contract. She went with me. I did a tasting. She went with me. And dude, I stayed up 20 hours trying to do those cakes. But that was the best 20 hours. Like I had fun. Like I was stressed. Don't get me wrong. But I had fun doing it. And then when we got to the wedding, it was like everything was done. Everything was beautiful. Like, man, I'm like, I could really, really do
Job
this.
well done. Job well done.
Yeah.
And you're doing it.
Yeah, man, that's what's up.
You're really doing it.
Yeah, you are doing it, man. We commend you for it. I don't want to cut you off, but at this time right now, we definitely got to pay these bills, guys. So we'll be back in a little bit, all right?
Hi, this is Billy the Baker, owner and operator of Oak and English Catering. You can reach us at www.oakandenglish, OAKANDENGLISH.com, or you can reach us at info@oakandenglish.com. We're a full service catering company.
And we are back, y'all. Back again with the Dough Talk. And we definitely here back again with Billy Cross from Billy the Baker. Yeah, Billy the Baker. And we were just having a conversation off camera. But I actually wanted to bring it back to it just as far as like what entrepreneurs go through as we were going through. And you was touching on basically like the things that we go through that we don't even talk to our loved ones or, you know what I'm saying, your wife or anything like that, you know? And a lot of that has to do with like, sometimes, at least for me, I don't really, I bottle a lot of things up because I'm afraid that they don't understand. Because at the end of the day, it's like I'm the one that's really going through it, especially if like you're the one that's really on hands. Is like, you know, it kind of gets heavy on you. You know?
Yeah. And then, you know, I lean hard on my wife, like for support. And sometimes I'm not really, I be like in business, man, you really have to take the emotion out of everything. You have to be logical about everything. And that's really hard. And for somebody, especially if you're coming from a 9-to-5 and trying to be an entrepreneur, like if you're going to be an entrepreneur, like do that part-time, you know, 3-4 hours after you get off your 9-to-5, but don't try to go cold turkey, become an entrepreneur. Cause if you're not financially stable,
it'll take a toll on you.
It'll take a toll on you. It'll take a toll on your relationship and your kids, relationship with your kids too.
Unless you're like, you ain't got no other choice. Because to be honest with you, like that kind of what happened to me. Like it was just like, with no other choice. It was pandemic, no money. It was like, man, you know, and I didn't want to go back to the block to selling drugs. So, you know, I had to go get it, you know, really.
I mean, but a lot of people, they go out there but I felt that you had a plan. When you were going, like you jumped in sort of like we did, but like as things started to go, you started to develop a plan for yourself.
Right.
And I felt that's where a lot of people go wrong. Like if you plan to fail, you go.
Yeah, you
fail to plan, right?
See, my thing was it was no for her anymore.
Yeah.
You know? It was just like, look, this is we're gonna make this succeed, and we're gonna keep going through it. We're gonna keep.
And like your family was behind you too.
Yeah, by the grace of God, I definitely had a good support. So how good is it? How big is that?
Family is huge.
Your support system
is huge, and I kind of touch on this too, like getting into partnerships. Man, you got to make sure you're on the same page. Make sure that you have the same ideals. You view money the same. You spend money the same. You guys have to be on the same page. You got to be in constant communication. Like if you take care of the pennies, the dollars take care of themselves. Exactly. So like if you don't, like you have to look at your checking. I don't care if it says negative $100, $1,000. You have to look at it. But then now that you have to take whatever you were doing up to that point, you got to do something a little bit different. And you got to be able to pivot. If you're not able to pivot, you're going to be staying in the same spot. and then let's say a trend comes along, but you're not pivoting with the trend,
Right, you gotta.
You're gonna miss it. You're gonna miss your beat. You're gonna miss your beat.
left behind.
And that's really hard sometimes, especially like what you just said. Look at your bank account, because you know, as entrepreneurs, you know, one day you be up 100,000, next day you negative 3,000. Like, damn, how does that work for real? And it's real. It's real.
I'd be
real.
like, I want to delay paying bills so I could just see them.
So I can just see it. Let me hold it for a little bit.
It lasted 2 days. But
Let me just hold that money for a little bit.
But speaking of pivoting,
yeah.
what would you do differently if you could start all over?
See, that's a catch-22 because all the experience I've had so far has helped me out to where I'm at now. So, like, my losses aren't really losses, they're lessons. At the moment, they didn't feel like a lesson. They felt like a loss. Like I got defeated. But when you kind of look back on it, be like, man, I thank God I went through certain things for the fact that it prepared me for something else later on down the road.
Yeah.
But
just thinking of like if you had more of a business mindset back then, like not in terms of obviously your personal experiences that shaped your business, like what would you have done differently? Like if you know any loopholes now that kind of would help other people who are starting businesses.
Yeah. So one thing I would do, I would ask people for more help. Like, I'm not the type of person who wants to ask for help, right? Because I feel like that's like a sign of weakness. But if you really think about it, like it's not really a sign of weakness. You're being courageous because you're asking people because you want things. And my whole viewpoint about what people is that no one, especially in Chicago, like no one ain't gonna be willing to help you out. But that's far from the. Well, let me step back. There are people who are like that, but you want to eliminate that.
It's very minimal though in Chicago.
Right.
I agree with you.
But you will
Not
find
for free.
people.
You won't do it
No.
for free.
A
Yeah,
lot
not
of people
for
want to
free.
do it for free.
Definitely not
free.
But
free.
there's always ways to get around that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've been very blessed to have certain chefs that's been in my life that has helped me out. You know what I mean? And all you do is just trade, right? You can do a trade. Like they help you out with something that's beneficial to you. You just trade your product, your
And
services.
sometimes it's not even an even exchange. Sometimes it's just like you'll help somebody out, and then maybe like a year later, them people will you'll be on their mind because you don't
Right, they
understand how much.
remember that.
You know what I'm saying? You don't understand how much you didn't help somebody in their business, and you just did it off the strength. But it's
Yeah.
like they'll have a position or something, an opening for you, and they'll be like, hey, check it out. Let me.
But like a lot of times, people who do take advantage, you know, they what I found in my experience, I don't know if you have, they don't last that long.
You reap
if
what
they
you
take
sow, man.
advantage
You
of
reap what you
people,
sow in here, man.
like if you're doing it to try to get over on somebody, like you're not gonna last that long.
Because
unless-
karma has a way of
I was
coming right
gonna
back.
say, yeah, karma.
But like, if there's somebody there who has good intent, they have good character, like you know, your talents can take you someplace, but your character will keep you there.
Yep.
If your character can't keep you there, like
Right.
you gonna be back.
And sometimes you might have a decent talent, but it's like your character and the way you deal with people will get you in a nice position where somebody will be like, no, I'd rather have him here. Just,
Yeah.
you know? Just 'cause
And that's another thing too. Work on your people skills too.
yeah. You got to have the people
Like
skills.
you have to have people skills, and you got to hold your tongue back sometime because you never know who's watching.
That's hard.
It's real hard, especially somebody coming at you about things, and they're being very difficult, and then they trying to nickel and dime you and stuff. Like you just have to keep your composure
Yep.
because you never know who's looking at you.
And it might be your team.
It could be our kids. Our kids are always looking at us, right? And
And our kids have a tendency to think that you're richer than what you really are.
yeah,
They definitely do.
they're like, "Oh, Daddy's around. He can make mine.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
You know, can we go to Chipotle? Like, no, we ain't go no Chipotle.
Bro, I'm broke, man. Get your ass up.
Like, you really have to watch what you're doing, watch your money, personal and business. You really have to watch it because, and two, like when you start taking on employees, like that's another stress in itself because now you got your family, but you got that individual's family, and like everything you do. I mean, I don't care if you go out drinking, smoking, or whatever you do, you have to protect the brand and you have to protect your family and other people's
other
families.
Yep.
Because they're dependent on you, and they're going to bat for you.
Right, and you got to do the same.
You got to do the same for them.
every day, every other week when you that payroll there, you got to do the same. No
Because
matter what it is.
people don't realize, like, as an entrepreneur, you're the last to eat.
Always.
Like,
Always.
you took this person to come work for you. They guaranteed in check. They want a check.
Out the door, huh?
You know, the 1st and the 15th, they looking for their check. Like, you can't be like, hey, you know, I went to Vegas this weekend.
Yeah, that don't work that way.
They checking your social media.
Right. And,
Like, oh, I see you went out to eat last night, but my check was a little short. How can you explain that? Like,
right.
But I would say different. I would plan a little bit, and I would ask more questions. Definitely would ask more questions. Yeah. Shorten up that curve, because I know what I know, and I don't know what I don't know. You know what I mean? So it's sort of like
you got to be truthful with yourself sometimes.
Bro, that's tough.
You got to be truthful with yourself. Where it's like, man, I don't know this. Yeah. You know, let me stop pretending like I do. I don't know this.
Because eventually it's gonna come out. It's gonna come out eventually.
You can't fake it for too long.
And then people are gonna be like, oh, what you know, what happened to your little cake business?
Right, back to your little cake business, right?
Cake business. But nah, like, you know, I had to take some time out after the restaurant and just kind of really evaluate what I wanted to do, get some more skill sets, like the bread baking, get some more skill sets, and then figure out the direction that I wanted to go. I just happened to do a catering event. Someone asked me to do it, and I did it. I had a lot of fun, and it's just slowly we're just adding pieces to it.
In English.
Yeah, Oak in English. We're just adding pieces to it as we grow. We're not trying to do too much. Like right now, we're at a position where we do like 80 to 100.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So, but we wanted to grow and expand it.
But everything is with time.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when you move too fast, that you start teeter-tottering.
And it's like quicksand, man. You're going further and further back, and then you get like paralyzed in a sense, where you just don't know what you're gonna do. Like, for instance, for my wife's 50th birthday, right? Like, I had this menu. I had people who wanted to help out. Blah blah blah. People did help out, but people, you know, we ran into a time issue, and so we had to cut the menu down. Thankfully, it was her, like, my event or whatever, but it's something that I learned was like,
don't overextend your hand.
Right. And two, like, you can just shorten your menu up.
Right.
Like, that was something key to me that, like, hit me. I was like, man. And I had a chef there. He was talking me through my executive chef at the restaurant. He was there. Man, dude, this is such a blessing. What I say about chefs, like, dude, they just they were there to party. Like, one of them was there to help out, but the other one was there just to kick it, right? He jumped in.
That's how it goes,
I was
man.
sinking, and he jumped in to help me out.
That's how it goes,
sort of like, it was like one of those deals where he didn't know how many people were going to come.
Right, and then everybody showed up.
And so you want to make sure you had enough food for everyone. And so I just had to start eliminate stuff. And so one of the chefs, you know, he came up to me. He was like, listen, man. He was like, it's a learning process. And he was like, you did okay. He was like, and everything worked out, and no one knew that you were sinking down here but us, the chefs.
Right.
Let's do it. And they right. And they only know that because of the profession.
But that's something I learned. Like, bro, like, you got to help people out. You know what I mean?
I honestly, I want to say that in the kitchen, there's a lot of camaraderie. Like, you know what I'm saying? As far as like, you know, as far as like chefs, we kind of try to take, especially if we get in the kitchen, a lot of us, you know, try to take care of each other.
Yeah.
But then you got some that are,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, but you know, you gotta, like, you know, eat the meat and spit out the bones.
Yeah.
In those situations, you know what I'm saying? There's always a message. Everybody got a message.
Yeah.
No matter how they deliver it or whatever, they have a message. You just got to be wise enough to spit through that. Like, eat the meat and just spit out the bones and be able to apply that to your situation so you can grow and do things for your family. Because There's nothing wrong. Some people just want to be in the kitchen all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. They find pleasure in that. Where I want to get to a point where, I'm in the kitchen, but I want to get to a point where I'm running it and I'm not in the kitchen. So if I can't duplicate,
just overseeing,
if I can't duplicate myself with my employees or whatever, if I can't duplicate myself, then why are you in business?
Exactly.
Like you're gonna do this until you're like 70,
right.
75? No, like you're trying to build a legacy. You're trying to build something for your family.
Yeah.
You're trying to build your own, so you can self-sustain, but build something where you can be like, hey, my kids are like, hey, I want to go to Dubai. You'd be like, okay, we're going to Dubai.
We can make it happen.
Like,
and then one thing I learned about too was I actually had Mike Hobbs. He was actually one of my mentors for a little while, and he told me something that actually like stuck with me as far as like retaining employees. Was he said all you have to do is make sure there's 70% of you. They don't have to be 100. They got to be 70% of you. And it was like I've always looked at it that way, and now I'm like, I see it, and honestly, I got some great employees. Like as far as like a great team, I do. Yeah. And it was just that tactic of okay, we got to take the bad apples out because the bad apples are gonna spoil the rest. And it was like just make sure that those employees that you have are 70% of you.
Yeah,
and that's always been a good for me.
And I think that's very, very good advice too. And to add on to that, the pigtail on that, how I like to operate is how you get your loyalty with your employees and stuff. I try to fit their dreams inside of my dream. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. So I want to know? What do they want to do? What do they want to get accomplished? Is there any way I can help you? Right. Like if that's one question you can ask somebody. Mm-hmm. Like, is there any way I can help you? And like now the person's looking at you like, oh man, this dude's willing to help me. Right. Now they like, okay. Now they think you care about them. Mm-hmm. Right. Like we care about people. We care about our people. Right. We want to be successful. But in order for us to be successful, like we're the last to eat.
Yeah, you got to be successful before
you have to be successful for me.
Yeah. And that's also too you build the loyalty. Like as far as like a lot of my guys and team, it was I don't went above and beyond on certain things. Because they have for my business, and it's like what I'm saying. I just want to give it back to them. As far as like we're a family, we already made it here.
Yeah, because like at the end of the day, 1 + 1 is greater than 1 × 1.
I
mean, that's one of the lessons I had to learn. Like I always wanted to do it my way, do it by myself, but I was getting burnt out doing that. Yeah, and so. And
that's hard. And that's a hard pill to swallow too. The relinquishing. Yeah. Because that was actually like what took me the most as far as like overcoming a hump was the relinquishing, because I wanted to be on top of everything, but I realized that I was killing myself.
Yeah. You need to know how everything operates, right?
Yeah.
You need to know your process, your procedures and everything. Your system is set up. You need to learn how that go. But like you gotta have checks and balances along the way. So you could just be like, you can be in Hawaii, right?
And you can just
you just look at the books and be like, all right, we're good. Yeah, but you can look at it and be like, hey, make one phone call, be like, hey, we need to switch this up. Like,
yeah, we need to make this happen.
Like quick. And I think that you do a good job at pivoting.
Yeah.
I feel like I do a pretty good job of pivoting too, but I think you excelled like pivoting.
I appreciate that,
because I saw the humble beginnings, man. I saw like your family bought in, like you were there, like He used to leave early though. he was shut down at 6 o'clock. I'm
man, like, I'm out of here, man. This thing ain't. Now the whole thing was to me was like we were there, and it was like, man, we weren't making anything out of there. So it was just like, man, them days, man, I gotta find another way to make some money. I gotta pay these bills still, bro.
We were like getting sales today. Nah,
not a thing, buddy.
1. Yeah. That was it. How many hours? 11, 12. Yeah, we were open from 11 to 11.
Yeah, 11 to 11, and it was just like it was bad.
Yeah, but that's what gives you your foundation, your grit, your grind.
Yeah,
like
seeing how far
we would leave. We'd shut down Wednesday and Thursdays. We shut down 11. I'll take flyers, go to the bars. That didn't have food, that didn't have kitchens. And we'll put the flyers in there and we'll talk to the bartender,
Try to
hey,
get some business from there. All
we were
that, man.
handing out like
We were grinding.
chicharrones.
Yeah,
We were
was grinding.
We had something like these cookies. We had something in our hand for them to taste.
Yeah.
Try it out. Something
Try it
like
out.
that, man.
The next thing you know, the next night it was after 10:30.
Yeah.
You get like 8 orders. You know,
And that would be that bar or something
that
like
was
that.
yeah, it would be the bar
bars up
right
like
down the
that.
street.
Yep.
But it would be like, oh, we got slammed.
Nah, I'm not complaining.
You ain't been doing that all day.
All day.
Now you
Now
slammed.
it's too much.
Come on,
much.
Smokey. Come on, Smokey. No.
Oh, Smokey.
But no, but it was like you saw results. So it's like
Yeah.
if you're consistent with that, then things will start to come through. But
Right.
it was like by the time then we got a contract, like that was helping us out. So it was like doing lunch. Then it was like, okay, let's pivot. Let's pivot our
Yeah. Or
like
the
because we
way-
had 3 concepts in a ghost kitchen. We had 3 concepts. We had a burger concept, a wing concept, and a rice concept, right? And the rice concept was the one we were doing the contract. So we were doing well with that a month. But like what was killing us was on the back end. You're like, you got to read those contracts.
Yeah, you got to still pay these people. And
Yeah.
They want their
That
money on the
must
first of the
suck.
month.
And on top of that, it was like they made you do Uber Eats, DoorDash, and the other one Postmates or whatever. But them things were doing 33%. They're taking 33% out the door.
And then
So it's
on
like
top
you're-
of that, the company was taking another.
Oh, they were taking
6
another like 6-7% on
Yeah.
top of that. So it's like you're in the rip already 40%.
And it
of
wasn't
the
like
money.
we had contracts with like US Foods or Cisco. We were going up to Restaurant Depot, paying those prices. So
those-
a box
Right.
of chicken when we first started was $106 for a jumbo party size wings, right? For a 40-pound case. Probably like 2 months into it, it went up to 180 something. And it stayed around like 156. So I just bought a box of wings last week. It was like $72. I was like, man.
No, and that's that it went up because honestly, like the chicken breast right now, we're back at like $110 a box. But it was just it not too long ago, like maybe a couple months ago, it was like $70 the box, and it just went straight to.
But it's like we can't raise our prices because we're already at the max. We're charging people like $12 for 6 jumbo flats, like jumbo wings and stuff. And then like you can't raise it up. Like that's at 106.
Yeah.
So we had a little wiggle room, but then when it went up to like 180, like
And then this
we were
thing,
losing.
a lot of consumers don't understand that we gotta bear that price, and it's like, oh, why are you raising your prices? Like, dude, like, there's
You got
no
no
other
choice.
You got no other choice, dude. This thing, everything's going up.
Don't get into like getting raises and stuff with the employees.
Oh yeah, you know, after a couple months, employee want to, hey, when I had a conversation with you,
Yeah.
and you like, and then obviously if they're a good employee, you really don't want to just brush it off.
Right.
But sometimes you got to, look, breathe easy. I got you in a second because it's like there's
You
no
in the
room.
same boat.
Yeah, there's no room.
Like it's kind of like you have to be a semi-open book with like when you're not like closely knit like we are. Like you have to kind of let them know like what's going
What's
on.
really going on? Yeah, what's really going on.
And then you kind of pull the curtain back and kind of show them the business side of it. Then they get a better understanding what you're going
Yeah,
through.
like, look, this is what I'm paying for this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So it's like they don't know that. I mean, no fault of their own. They're just there. Like I'm getting a check on the 1st and the 15th. Like I'm coming to work, do what I have to do. I do a good job. I want to get paid accordingly. Which that's anybody, right?
Right, of course.
But like on the business side, like when you first get started out, man, some people you have to let go because you just can't afford them.
Right, they're not a bad employee. You just can't afford them.
Just can't afford
You
them.
can't
It's
afford 'em.
bad. But then you try to help them out, try to get a job somewhere else
Right.
where
Those are the tough decisions entrepreneurs have to make.
It is. And that's what we signed up for. But going into it at first, you're not really thinking about that because you're thinking about, man, I want my time, I want to get some money,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. But, you have to transform into the person to an entrepreneur. You just can't be a 9-to-5, have a 9-to-5 employee mentality.
Yeah, because a lot of people leave their 9-to-5 to be entrepreneurs saying, hey, I just want some time. You don't realize now you working 24.
Literally.
You working 24 hours. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Have you ever seen, read the book, The Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki? No. So he talks about it's a 4 quadrants. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. So your employee, self-employed, business owner, investor, right? So our ultimate goal is become an investor, right? Like, I wouldn't say my ultimate goal is to become an investor. All right. So if you're self-employed, it's like you're not making money unless you're working, right? We all know about the employee. You go to work, you're trading time for dollars. Self-employed is you're going in and you're working in your business. So if your door is closed, you're not making any money. Now you're a business owner. Now you got employees. Again, you can kind of take off a little bit, but not much. But you're still working, but you're more and more of a management side of it. Where you want to get into as an investment where you can be like, okay, I want to put X amount of dollars on this. I'm getting 6% rate of return on my money within the next 6 to 12 months. Like, or it could be over time. You know, you take in like dividends or whatever it may be. You're just getting money, but it's coming in. It's coming in as income for you. So that's where like I felt that in one business venture I was in. Like I was quote unquote a business owner, but I was self-employed essentially because I had somebody who was just throwing money at the business, and you know you have meetings or whatever, and then you know they wouldn't show up to the meetings, and I was just like, man, like
how are we gonna get this together? I thought we was in it together.
Well, it's not even that. It was just the whole thing. Like he just put money in there, and he expect us to take care of everything.
Right.
Like he'll check in from time to time,
Just throwing money at the problem,
and then if we made money, like I felt some type of way. I was like, man, like
we made this money.
right?
I made
you
this
made the
We made
money.
this money.
But it's sort of like that's when you take on investors or whatever, you have to really have that conversation with them, and that's one of the lessons I learned. Like you just got to get your terms out right and hash them out.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like you don't want to feel like you put in all this work, put all this sweat equity into it, and then they just pay for it. And, you know, they just get cut a check, and then they get the check back in return.
And they just sitting at home chilling.
Yeah. And so, I mean, ultimately, that's what I want to do. But also, like, being a chef, I also want to teach, too. Like, I want to bring other guys in who have the dreams of owning their own. They work with me, and then, you know, they branch off and do their own deal.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I want to help people get their foot, learn the business, because like we had to learn this trial and error. Like man, like I just want to make sure that I leave the next generation in a position that was better than where I picked it up.
Where you picked it up at?
Because when I first started, like I was trying to find recipes. It was some bogus recipes out there, especially for baking. They'd be like flour. All right, what type of flour? You know what I mean? Like butter. What type of butter? Now I can look at a recipe and someone will do that, and I'd be like, okay, this is unsalted because of the ratio of salt that I have to put into this, and or vice versa. You know what I mean? So I can kind of pick that up. I can look at the yields and all that stuff, and be like, but that takes time.
Yeah.
But like now, it's like I just want to find people who are passionate about baking. There's a lot of people who work 9 to 5, especially in the industry. They're just there to just collect a check. But I want to work with people who feel like they don't have a way out, but someone there to help them, guide them along the way. Like it doesn't have to pay me back or cut me in or anything like that. It's just out of the kindness of my heart. You know
So you looking for people in right now to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. And where and if our audience wanted to, where can they reach you at?
They can reach me on my personal IG at I am Billy the Baker.
Billy the Baker.
I love sharing recipes. I love collaborating with people.
Okay.
You never know what's gonna come out of it. Yeah. I'm most of the times I end up learning myself. You know what I mean? Because different ethnicities, you know, they have
different ways of doing things.
Different things.
Yeah.
And man, I tell you, once I start opening up and trying different things, man, like oh my gosh. Thai food, I love Thai food. Thai fried rice, oh man, add extra basil.
Yeah.
Man, oh, I love it. But
I'm not too fond of basil.
oh man, I love basil.
Not too much.
Maybe you just haven't had the right person to make it for you.
Maybe, Billy, maybe.
Nah, it's just like different flavors and stuff, and you know, my wife exposing me to different cultures and stuff like that. So I was just like, man, it's like you never know what will happen.
That's what's up, man. You got no? Well, to Billy. Honestly, a lot of people. I'm glad you were here to share your story, share a little bit of your knowledge. You know, because me personally, I know you, so I know that we've been through ups, downs, and everything in between, man. But honestly, like you, sometimes as entrepreneurs, you don't really know how much of a factor you were in somebody else's plan, and I'm here to thank you, honestly, because I'm thank you for being my friend, but I also thank you for, like, little did you know that, well, he did know, but he actually put me in a position. He's the one that introduced me to the hatchery. Billy introduced me to his cousin, and that's how everything started, because at that verge, I was at the verge of closing my business because it was like we weren't making no money. So I was like, I was literally down to like my last $2,000. Oh shit. And it was just like it was closing time, and then Billy actually, you know, God makes no mistakes.
Yeah. So
Billy was able to put me in contact with somebody that was in the hatchery. He actually got me there. We actually went to go check it out ourselves.
Yeah.
And then when I walked in there with Billy, I was just like, man, I'm already taking notes. And I'm like, I'm gone. This was gonna do. And then I went there, and the contract that he introduced me to actually was the only thing that I had going on for myself.
Yeah.
And literally that's what I kept going, and I kept pushing in and grinding up from there. And just, you know, by the grace of God, you know, God started opening doors for me, and it went from there. But you were very instrumental in the pivoting of my business, and I want to thank you for that. I want to also tip my hat to you. I've seen you grind. I've seen you really go through some shit and really get to it, you know what I'm saying? And to see you here, have you here, you know,
and this is his first podcast.
This is your first podcast? Oh, Billy the Baker. Y'all get to know, because this will be probably one of plenty of. But as far as like, man, you were very instrumental to see you here, man. It makes me proud. It gives me an honor to be your friend. Be actually, you know, to have started with a person like you, and to see how we both evolved in different directions. That's actually, you know what I'm saying? That is very, you know, hard feeling. So I want to thank you once again for how instrumental you were to us, and to us and my family and my business. I appreciate you, man.
Man, you guys have been a blessing. Well, first of all, you're welcome. But man, you guys have been more of a blessing to me. Just our conversations that we had,
right?
And then you spend the time with your family. You know what I mean?
Right.
Our boys who do volunteer work and stuff like that. Like, and then just that time we spent, it was crazy because I kept, when we were in the kitchen preparing the meals and stuff, I kept looking at our boys, just looking at us, man. I was like, man, we got 2 minority dads in here with their boys,
raising their kids,
and trying to put them on the straight and narrow. Like, bro, that was a blessing to me for you just even open up your kitchen for me to do that, because I had an idea, and I wanted to do it, and we talked about it and we executed. We just split up around what we had to do.
Let's do it.
And man, we brought the babies in.
They
helped out.
And Billy the Baker makes some good turkey. He makes some good turkey, man. He gets some good turkey.
Yeah, smoking meat.
Smoked turkey, man. That was good.
Like my favorite. Like I didn't know I had a love for baking or the culinary arts like that, because it calms me down. I have to be patient. And that's what entrepreneurship is about, man.
Therapy.
Just being patient.
Let's do it.
And, you know, not the instant gratification. If it comes, like, if you have too much success all at once, you don't have the infrastructure to hold on to it, to maintain it, or to receive it. You know what I mean? Like, it'll all crumble real quick and fast. So that's what I've learned. Like, you just got to be able to take. God's never going to put too much on it that you can't handle. But you also got to be in tune with God. And
you got to be in tune with God. And honestly, though, sometimes, like you say, you know, God sends the right people just to encourage sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you down and out, and it's like, you know, God just bring the right person to be like, man, look, man, shake that off, man.
Yeah. I mean, we were both in the same boat, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I just felt
it wasn't just us. It was like,
it was a lot of
us. It was
in
like 3 or 4 kitchens.
On the same boat.
All in the same boat.
Oh, wow.
You know, and it's no fault. Like, we had an opportunity to open up a kitchen where we were at. Just like I said, you just gotta
and we didn't honestly, like, we didn't know better.
Yeah,
like honestly, we thought we were really going into something. You know, they sold you a dream, and it's like, I'm not really mad at them, because it was just that actually taught me how to manage. You know what I'm saying? Because that taught me how to really manage at when you had nothing. So it's like when that was really good. And then to see Billy, to see me, to see what he was just telling me about the other guy that was there, and he's flourishing. So it's just like to see where it's just like, man, we know what it was there, and it was just like, to go from there to see us where we at today, man. I'm very thankful. It just shows you how good God is, dog.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Definitely. How good God is, man. But here we are, man. I appreciate you guys for coming. I appreciate you for coming, Billy.
Yeah. We hope
thank you
to
so
see
much.
more.
Yeah.
We hope to have more passionate entrepreneurs like yourself on the pod.
Yeah.
I do have to ask,
What's up?
who do you like?
Who would you like to see on the Dope Talk podcast that you would be like, man, matter of fact, that you can get us in tune. Let's do that.
All right. It's a couple of people. I mean, you just told me
Brian? Yeah.
your guests and stuff.
Yeah.
You can have his co-host. I know him, Corey Wooten. He's played for Chicago Bears.
We got to get Juice up here, too.
Got to get Juice up here.
We got to get Juice up here, man.
About that foundation, yep.
Juice Foundation doing remarkable things. We're doing incredible things for the kids.
Let's do it.
Dude, I got another chef that you can talk to.
Let's do it.
His name is Chef Artletta.
Artletta, okay.
He would be great to talk to. He's really huge in the space for mental health.
Okay.
That's an excellent chef.
And mental health awareness for men is coming up May.
Yeah.
That is definitely May.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's really good, positive dude. Like, you guys would click for real. Like, yeah, man. Just, if I come up with anything else, those are the top three off of me. Because of Corey, because of the what's name, but Juice definitely.
Yeah.
And definitely have Chef
Definitely gonna
Artletta
get him
here.
on this podcast for
You ain't gonna ask Billy your question?
That was the question.
No, you had another question that you always ask.
Nah, let's.
No, we want to hear it.
What is it?
I don't want to ask this question. He's referring to a question about your biggest misconception
Of you. Your
If
biggest
you ever-
misconception
about you
that people have about you.
That I'm a mean person, man. Like, I walk around, I don't really like smile or nothing like that. Like, back in the day, people would know, like, I was like the life of the party. Like, I would always want to, keep everybody laughing, light at the job and stuff like that. But, man, as life started lifing, man, you just be like, man, nah, I ain't doing that. But then, like, once I'm out, it's just certain environments I just don't play. Like, I'm straight, rigid, like, this is this way or no way.
Right.
This is how it's supposed to be done. Like, if the sign says don't turn on red, we're not turning on red.
Right.
I don't care how many times you're gonna honk at me.
Just ain't doing it, man. We just ain't turning.
We're not turning. You can honk all you want. Like, I'm the type of guy that put the car in park.
Oh man, you want to know, guy? Me.
What?
In the drive-through. You know.
Oh man, bro.
No one puts a
Gio would have a field day with you. Oh my god.
But
mean
I'm very. I love to have fun. I love to crack jokes. Like, I think laughter is like healing. It's a medicine. It heals. Like, I love going to comedy shows. You know what I mean? Like, I like weird comedy. I wouldn't say weird, but offbeat comedy like Curb Your Enthusiasm. Even though I don't like Seinfeld, but I like Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David. Like, he basically has a script, but he's the only one that has a script. He tell you to show up at a location, and so it's improv. So it's like, I took improv at Second City before. I took classes there before. So I had so much fun, but it brought so much out of me. Like I didn't know I had inside of me. You know what I mean? Like creativity wise and stuff like that. But and at first, I would say, like, when I was younger, I used to do jokes all the time because I didn't want people to really start asking me questions and really get to know who I am. I'm a very private person, so I do use like laughter as a being funny, kind of deflected. I'm very aware of that.
Yeah. A lot of people do that.
But I always tell people, we're the life of the party. Wherever we go, it don't matter where we're at. We're the life of the party, right? So, I used to have guys in college. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, we're going out. We're gonna meet some girls." Blah blah blah. I'd be like, "Man, I already got a girlfriend. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't need that. Like, we can go to a little lounge, a little pub. You know,
And get drunk.
do what we do. And then, you know what I'm saying? Just go back to the dorms, our apartments, or whatever we were staying at, and just hang out. We're the life of the party. Like, people don't understand that. Like, wherever you go, you got to have a high sense about yourself, not arrogance, but you got to hold your high standard.
Confident out here.
Yeah,
Okay.
and people gonna read that too. Like, you meet somebody, you like, hey, how you do? No, you look them straight in the eye, you shake their hand, and you be like, hi, my name is Billy the Baker. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
But unless you say it like Billy the Baker.
Billy Baker.
But you know, you gotta say that because like people, they'll take advantage of you if they sense some type of weakness, and that's something that I had to fix when I was younger. Like, even as an adult, I had to fix that. Especially becoming an entrepreneur, I had to fix it real fast because it's a dog eat dog world out here, and then you got to learn how to take care of business. Like, if it's a bad deal, you just got to take the emotion out of it and walk away.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a misconception that they got of you. But that's what's up, man. I know you personally, man. You know what I mean, dude, man. He's all right, man. But we appreciate
cool
you.
dude.
Thank you,
I've been
appreciate
sitting here
it.
this whole time eating all these cookies, man.
Nothing in the box.
No, man, but if you like these cookies, man, look, I don't know if y'all got the shot. Let's get shot. These cookies, man, he got velvet. He got different kinds. Oakton English.
If you guys want to order cookies, we've been experimenting with the weight and everything with the cookies. They're going to be up by the time this airs.
The website?
The website.
Okay.
It's going to be on the website. So, Oakton English, you can get all the Billy the Baker baking products, from cakes to cookies to pastries.
Let's do it.
We do it. So
Let's do it, man. You got to get the velvet cookie, y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all got to get the velvet cookie, man. Appreciate you being here, man. And that's a wrap for our show, man. This is the Dope Talk podcast. Where
Where
the talk is always real, my friend. She been eating too many cookies, man. We out of here, man. We out of here.
A sugar overload over here, but yeah. Like, comment, subscribe.